Hey guys, in this video I want to talk to you about the costs associated with kids sports. How do we budget for kids sports? I've got a list here on the board that I'm going to take you through of the 7 things you need to be aware of before saying yes to little Johnny that he can play soccer or do karate or whatever it is he wants to do. You need to consider all the costs, not just the fees. Okay, as a dad of 3 now teenagers, I understand the cost of school sports. It's just getting out of control. And one of the things that we find as parents is so often we'll say yes to our kids doing another sport, and what we're looking at when we're trying to figure out if we can afford it is, well, what are the annual fees? What are all the per term fees? And we look at that and we go, yeah, we can probably afford for little Johnny to start soccer or for Holly to start running this year or whatever it might be. We actually sit down and we look at this and we go, yeah, we can afford that. The problem is that there's a whole lot of other expenses that we need to consider as well. So let me take you through them. Obviously, number 1, fees that we pay on a per term or per competition basis or an annual basis. Yep, they're the easy one. But then we've got equipment. Now, I've got a client at the moment in Canada, and their little one is starting to play ice hockey. And they said to me, we didn't realise just how much all the equipment costs. Because, you know, with ice hockey, they walk out there like Michelin men with pads and stuff all over them, not to mention the skates. But even here in Australia, you know, if you've got kids playing cricket, now my Hannah played cricket for a few years, and you know, there's a pads and there's a helmet and there's the cricket bat and the cricket balls and all the stuff that goes with it. So make sure you're factoring in the equipment as well. And then of course there's the clothes that go with it. So again, if we're looking at cricket, you need your cricket whites and your cricket shoes and all those sorts of things. So make sure you've got clothes. As a family, we do an awful lot of running. And so just the running shorts and the running tops and the running shoes, you know, because the kids are growing, we need to replace those every single year, and it can get pretty expensive. Competition fees. So again, it depends where you are. Sometimes if it's just a kids sport, well, you just pay the one fee. But if they then want to do anything representative, or if, let's say, their team wants to enter a different sort of competition to do for a short period of time, then often you find yourself hit with additional competition fees, and they're not always that cheap. So make sure when you get into the team, is it one that's likely to have representative duties, or to say, hey, let's go to Sydney and play in this competition, in which case you're going to be up for a whole lot more money. Travel and accommodation. Now, this travel could just be how much petrol are you spending driving to the other side of town to every Saturday play sport with the kids, every Saturday or Sunday. How much travel are you doing on a weekly basis to make this happen? But then, of course, there is the travel to and from competitions that might be in different parts of the country. And also, if they do get picked to represent ACT or Australia or what have you, that's going to cost money. I had a client that I spoke to just the other day. Her daughter has been represented, been chosen in the juniors athletics, the World Juniors Athletics team, to go and do long jump in Finland. And the cost to go to Finland is $15,000. Now, what does she say at that point? Does she say to her daughter, well, sorry, I can't afford it? Now, the reality is, if you can't, you should say that. But make sure you're factoring in that there are going to be other costs. End of year dinner. Most teams at the end of the year will get together and they'll have a dinner and they'll celebrate the year regardless of whether they've won or they've lost. Not a big expense, but it is an expense you need to consider. And if you're in a tight household budget, it can make all the difference. Of course, we've got the thank yous gifts for the coaches and the managers. And then every now and then we will have injuries. We'll need orthotics. We'll need all sorts of other health support along the way. So just make sure you're factoring in something like that too, depending on what sort of activities your child's playing in. So there you go, 7 things you need to consider. Don't just look at what are the fees, because I can guarantee you at least half of these will apply to every single sport you put your kids into. So make sure you're budgeting for everything, not just the fees. And that way you'll have a much better ability to make the decision as to whether we can afford it or not. Now, if you are interested in saving money, if you're interested in spending less, if you're interested in breaking the paycheck cycle or paying off debt or achieving lifestyle goals that are really important to you, can I encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel? Every Tuesday and Thursday, we will release videos about managing your personal finances. So please, subscribe below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.